Hakuo listeners, let's learn sumo. I'm Clayton. Welcome to the podcast. Don't forget to join me on X or Instagram at Let's Learn Sumo. Also, this podcast is restreamed in audio on YouTube. Here we are at the end of day 14 of the Nagoya Grand Sumo Tournament in July 2025. Let's have a look at days 13 and 14 of the tournament. Our tournament leaders changing places as we move along. Aonishiki, the hot Ukrainian, faced former leader Ichi Yamamoto on day 13. Ichi came out fast and started Supari thrusting on Aonishiki. Not a lot of power, but he keeps it up until Aonishiki goes lower, dives into the body and gets that body inside grip and pushes Ichi over to step out backwards. A Yorikiri to finish Ichi Yamamoto off. Aonishiki goes to 11 wins at the end of day 13. Ichi Yamamoto, he's had 3 losses on the row. He's now stuck on 9 wins and well out of the Yusho race. Kusano at Magashira 14, he faced Sekiwake Kirishima yesterday on day 13. The technician Kirishima, he got a lesson from the newcomer from Isegahama stable as he took out Kirishima with a Sotagake leg trip. Good touchy eye. Kirishima pressures Kusano to the bails. Kusano defended, got onto the belt with Kirishima. Kirishima had the advantage as a technician, but Kusano drove forward, got his right leg behind Kirishima, pushed him down backwards, landed on top. Kusano moved to 10 wins with that win over the Sekiwake. Bit of a shock there. Kodoshoho right down the bottom of the buns, K. He faced his biggest challenge yet against Shin Yokozuna, the new Yokozuna, on his debut as Yokozuna. Onosato Kodoshoho, he got a left inside belt off the touchy eye. Onosato had an outside belt. He pulled Onosato around at the bails, pulled him down, Shitatanage throw into the alley, a Kinboshi gold star for Kodoshoho over the Yokozuna. Geez, he's throwing those Kimboshis out left, right and centre. That's his 4th one. Kodoshoho moves to 11 wins with that win and is in the joint lead with Aonishiki. Atami Fuji, he faced Ozeki Kodozakura, probably an underpowered Kodozakura like he has been all year. That knee is still a problem. Kept his hopes of a Yusho alive with a win over the Sanyaku wrestler. Atami got a left outside right body grip inside and just worked hard to move Kodozakura back to the bails. It was always going to be a bit of a battle of strength for the 2 larger men. He has to work for it, but he did force Kodozakura over the bails. Great win by Yorikiri to 10 wins and in that chasing pack. Day 14, well, they put Kusano and Aonishiki together. Aonishiki on 11 wins, Kusano chasing on 10 wins. Kusano needed the win to get to 11 wins and hold Aonishiki back. Aonishiki needed the win to keep himself in tow with Kodoshoho, who still had to face Kirishima later on tonight. Big touchy eye, they went thrusting at each other. Kusano moved inside, got an inside left belt, outside right. Aonishiki tried to get on the belt, but he is just a moment later. Kusano used that belt to start pulling Aonishiki around with the belt. Kept the movement up. Aonishiki stepped out while trying a Sukinage throw, just couldn't get there. Yorikiri win for Kusano. He is impressive. He moves to 11 wins, equal with Aonishiki, I should say. Joins him in the lead, in that chasing pack for the Basho. They move to 11 with Kodoshoho still to fight. Atami Fuji, he faced Takayasu. Great fight. Atami, he just almost had that really good touchy eye. Atami was trying to get inside. Takayasu pressured Atami to the bails, almost gets him. Atami pressured Takayasu to the bails, almost got him too. Takayasu, he got an inside right, outside left belt. Atami, he just only got the right body, didn't quite get in there on the grip. Takayasu used his right hand to pull Atami around and down. Shitatanage belt throw. It was a really good throw. Atami, he's out of the Yusho race, and he showed some frustration as he walked down the Hanamichi alley, smacked his Sagari ropes on his hands. You could tell he knew he'd given away that one. Look, it was a pretty poor year for Atami Fuji over the last 12 months, but he can be happy that he's found a little bit of consistency with his sumo. Whilst he's kind of fighting the lower Magashira ranks here, he has found a bit more consistency in the way he goes about it. So a little bit of improvement there. I think his new Oyakata Terunofuji may not yell at him as much. He is out of the race anyway, 10 wins for him. In the final Yusho defining match of the day 14, Kota Shoho, he's on 11 wins facing Sekiwake Kirishima. This match could put him into the sole lead going into the final day. Could the great technician Kirishima deal with the lower Magashira Kota Shoho? Look, he really should have. Kirishima didn't get a belt as they thrust at the tachi. Kirishima was searching with that left hand. He tried hard. Kota Shoho, he moved well, got a side hit, deflected Kirishima to the left, grabbed the back of his belt and helped him over the bales. They called it Uwatanage, but more just a delivery over the bales. Kirishima just missed that belt grip, and that was it. Sole leader Kota Shoho on 12 wins going into the final day. He has only lost to Mitakayumi and Fujinakoa in this tournament. Kota Shoho beat Kusano on day 3 by Yorakiri after a big belt battle for throwing dominance. Kota Shoho had the power and the balance to survive that. Day 15 will see Kota Shoho and the Ukrainian Ayanishki fight off to pretty much decide the Yusho race. If Kota Shoho wins, it is the Yusho for him. He can't be caught. If Ayanishki wins, he joins Kota Shoho on 12 wins for the playoff. Kusano, he will face Takayasu the Bear, the Komusubi. A win will join Kota Shoho and perhaps the winner of that match on 12 wins. But if Kota Shoho wins, it's out of his hands. It is a grandstand finish coming up tomorrow. Day 14 saw Onosato fight Wakataka Kage. Look, after giving out 4 kinboshi and people talking about his nerves, his confidence, Onosato proved yet again that if he goes forward, he has a higher chance of winning. His Oyakata needs a taser or a cattle prod to stand behind Onosato to train him to go forward. Look, I'm not serious, of course, but he must use his confidence and skill to force himself to impose himself on the match like the Yokozuna he is. But remember, look, Onosato is quite young, so a little bit of panic, a little bit of lack of patience. He'll get there in the end. Yokozuna, though, they have a lot of expectations. Kodazakura, he got a win over Hiradumi to get his Kachikoshi, escape from Kataban just in case he was getting close. It was a Suki Nage beltless throw, but holy moly, it was a combination of a Karasukashi, a Suki Nage, and some sort of twisting shoulder affair to spin Hiradumi down to the clay in that throw. It's quite a throw. Hiradumi himself, he'll be Nana Sho Nana High tomorrow at 7-7, looking for Kachikoshi. Wakamoto Haru, look, tonight was a very impressive fight for me for Wakamoto Haru. After a pretty up and down tournament, he demonstrated his former Sekiwake skill. It was patient, it was skillful, it was a fairly blunt Tsukiya Teoshi at the bales. Quite a hit to drop Meisei onto his butt. Well done by Wakamoto, but he is already Makekoshi. Hakuoho, he used a bit of patience and balance to drive Arbi out after he couldn't pull off a Takikomi on Hakuoho. That's Kachikoshi for Hakuoho. Arbi, he's already Kachikoshi on 8 wins. Tamawashi showed that even as a veteran, he can mix it with the best. He used some fairly effective Nodowa to push Ichi-Yamamoto back, get him onto the belt, to control him back over the bales. It's pretty good defense by Ichi. Gave his all, but it just wasn't enough. So day 15 will be an absolute grandstand corker of a finish. No Sanyaku involved in this Yusho race. Kota Shoho, look, he's in the box seat on 12 wins. Kusano and Ayanishki on 11 wins with a chance each. Yokozuna, Onosato on 10 wins on his Yokozuna debut. We do expect better, but we do need to be a little bit patient with him. He's got up there very quickly. Tamawashi and Atami Fuji also on 10 wins. That is quite the leading pack. Join me again on the final day, folks. Hakioi, let's learn sumo.